Rewind to about a year ago, and it seemed like we would have seen the last of one Benjamin Andrew Stokes in ODI cricket. After all, the England Test captain announced emphatically that he needed to manage his workload and therefore would be retiring from the format to ensure that he could elongate his career just a little bit. Fast forward to the present times, however, and you see that not only has he unretired and will be playing in the 2023 World Cup as a specialist batter, but he's announced his intention in grand style. He smashed 182 against New Zealand, and it was in many ways a record-breaking knock for the man who in fact had last played that very defining knock against New Zealand in the final of the 2019 World Cup. We'll go into the records that he's broken in a little bit, but first let's take a bit of time and appreciate the kind of knock it was from Benjamin Andrew Stokes, because it was really fantastic. He ended up scoring 182 runs, and by the way was on course for a 200 if not for a miss hit, and he scored them off only 124 balls. The strike rate was 146.77, the kind of strike rate that, truth be told, would not be out of place in a T20I, and here he was pulling it off in an ODI match, and he was slamming fours and sixes for fun. In fact, he had 15 fours and 9 sixes during the course of that innings. So to say that it was anything but an entertaining knock would be quite the understatement, and he absolutely was looking in imperious form. No matter what kind of bowler was coming his way, he was smacking them either to or beyond the boundary. Now, what about those records that he's broken? Well, this is in fact the highest ever score by an English batsman in the history of ODI cricket. That is the big record that he's broken, and in fact, if you take a look at that list, Ben Stokes finds himself atop some very illustrious company. His 182 against New Zealand in this particular match is the highest score in the history of England men's cricket, which betters, of course, the record by Jason Roy, who also happens to be part of the scheme of things for white ball cricket, that he scored against Australia in 2018. Alex Hales is the third highest, of course. He got that 171 against Pakistan all the way back in 2016. And number 4, Robin Smith, someone who a lot of younger viewers might not be familiar with, but who until quite recently did hold that record of the highest score in ODI cricket, that 167 not out that he got against Australia all the way back in 1993, a record that stood the test of time for quite some time. And of course, at number 5, you've got Jos Buttler, the current ODI and T20I skipper. His that 162 not out that he hit against the Netherlands just about a year back. That is the 5th highest score. So as I said, illustrious company indeed, but it is Ben Stokes who sits atop the list, and it was quite the knock. And as it turns out, New Zealand unfortunately do have a little bit of a history of getting hit for big scores, especially when you look at recent memory. In fact, if you're talking about the 5 biggest individual scores that have been scored against New Zealand, 3 of them, spoiler alert, came in 2023. If you're looking at the list of batsmen who've scored the highest individual scores against New Zealand in the history of ODI cricket, well, as I said, 3 of those have come in 2023, with Shubman Gill's double 100 being the highest score. Gill, of course, scored that double 100 in India. It was earlier this year. That 208 is the highest ever score by a batsman against New Zealand. Sachin Tendulkar, that 186 in 1999, and bear in mind that this is an innings that would arguably match up to any 200 knock in the modern age, because quite frankly, this was in 99 when you didn't have the concept of 2 new balls and of course multiple power plays. So this was a fantastic knock, and Ben Stokes comes in right below the little master himself. Ben Stokes, that 182 which he got this time around, is the 3rd highest individual score against New Zealand. Below that, you have, of course, Matthew Hayden, who scored a 181, an unbeaten 181 against New Zealand in 2007. And of course, Fakhar Zaman rounds off the list. His 180 not out also came in this very calendar year. So it does show you how batter friendly the game is really in today's day and age, that of the 5 highest scores that have been scored against New Zealand, 3 have come not just in recent times, by the way, but all in the same calendar year. But that takes nothing away from the knock that this man, Ben Stokes, ended up putting out there. Don't forget, he will be playing this year's World Cup as a specialist batter, because his knee injury means that he's not going to be bowling. In fact, he will be undergoing knee surgery right after the World Cup to fix that problem and hopefully elongate his career. But if he is batting like this, does it really matter if he bowls? It doesn't even matter probably if he fields. You can just send him out there to bat and let him do what he does best, which is decimate bowling lineups. What are your thoughts on Ben Stokes' win, and do you think that this sort of display that you saw from England really solidifies their status as one of the favourites going into the 2023 World Cup? You can let us know that in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, tap that bell icon as well, follow us on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to download the AajTak app, and if you're already on the channel, go right ahead and check out some other videos we've done. For now though, from my side, it is bye-bye.